Hello and welcome to the We Are Birmingham podcast. I'm Chris Golding,
I'm Matthew Elliott.
and as ever, we're joined by the vegan, not a vegan. How you doing, Dave? You okay?
Yes, good. Thank you. Thanks for clarifying that.
Your hair's looking beautiful today. Have you had something?
I've had a bit off it. In fact, your hair's looking beautiful too, Matthew. Have you had a bit off it?
I have had a bit off it, yes.
Have you had a bit off your hair, Chris?
And I went to the barbers. I went to four different barbers
doesn't
yesterday
fucking look
before they
like
got.
it.
I know. I went
And
to
Neil
four
said they
different.
couldn't cut your hair.
The hair wasn't the issue. They didn't. There was no availability to cut my beard yesterday or to trim my beard. I was going to have it nicely trimmed, so I've got to. I got to try and get that done before Friday.
There's
You
no
like that
like
many-
places hiring out chainsaws or anything locally, or no.
I might. There was someone doing the trees next door, so I might see whether they can
That's what you should do.
do the
You're like
bushes.
that Man
and the
United
beard.
fan, aren't you? You're not cutting your beard until we get back to the Premier League.
We still haven't set any regulations for this.
No, I think what it is, I think you're not cutting your beard until we comfortably finish in the lower third of the Championship.
I'm
Something like
I'm having it trimmed.
I mean, it could happen fairly soon, maybe. I don't know.
Well, there's a few months yet before the end of the season, so finishing at that point. No, I think I'm going to go for. I can cut it when Blues win 5 games in a row. That's what the Man United fans done, hasn't he?
Yes, yeah.
I'll go with that.
You know, you think what's going to happen if you get in the same room as him?
we'll mesh together.
Is it Bill and Ted where those two things run into each other and create one big one? We'll just create
Right,
one.
Photoshop his head underneath mine, merge the hair together, and see how that looks.
That's what the football world wants.
It is. Yeah, and then we'll wrap a ribbon around us, and we'll write Birmingham City Football Club 1875 on them. The two heads will look like the ball, won't they, with a beard behind.
Anyway,
Anyway,
next week.
have we been okay?
yes.
Yes.
No, I'm here.
Just about.
Yeah, no comment. Yeah,
We haven't delayed.
No, we haven't. We're actually on time today because we set it later. So,
Genius.
but everything tried to conspire against me to push it further out, but we're here, so let's go with it.
Before we get into it, the last week you made a comment about Dukes being Dugary-ish.
Oh, yeah.
Did you see Jaspel's comment on Twitter? Be very careful on how we pronounce this because I read it as Duck Shagger. Duck Shaggery. Duke Shaggery.
Nice. I like it.
Yeah. We'll have to wait and see whether he lives up to that before he.
If he, we'll have to wait and see if he lives, if he ever returns.
Oh. I was just sidetracked by the comments. I was going to say hello, thank you for everyone who's sent a message in. I've just seen one that said, "Evening, gentlemen. Just reminded me." This is Steve Stanley. "Evening, gentlemen. Just remind."
Very good.
Yeah, it does come in a few minutes before. You should have said hello, Steve. Hello. Just so I was going to say, because I've seen some of the comments, people already saying about how long has Chris Davis got left. Wagner didn't look happy. Now, because of that, I've had to put on the Wagner says relax t-shirt because
Didn't look like that was it he was saying.
What does it look like? It's
not what that facial. No. It didn't look like that's what his facial expressions were
no,
saying.
well, no, it didn't. But
Didn't even flinch for the equaliser. But
What
then
was your t-shirt say,
neither did I really.
I've
honest.
heard about this, but I haven't seen it. Come on to it later. Talk about Cov first.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So I had all my kids, all my girls. My other half was away, and I had every one of my girls in a blue shirt. So I had my younger two were in the home one. I had my older two in the away one, and I was in the third trip. And we are never doing that again. Ever. I'm not a superstitious kind of guy, but I feel like either I or they or combination of both were to blame for that.
Not a superstitious guy, but you've been superstitious about
Yeah,
that.
it's
I think
never
that means.
happening again.
I
Were
think
you,
that means you're
It
superstitious.
It was hard enough task to get them into it. So like, you're with Daddy today.
Were you in
This
the
is what
shorts
we're
and
gonna
socks
do.
as well?
No, I wasn't. No, unfortunately not.
Ruined.
But yeah,
AW.
what that game on Saturday was diabolical from probably the very first minute.
The worst that we've seen.
Easily.
I think
Easily. I mean, absolutely the worst we've seen. Yeah.
I actually think it was embarrassing. It was just a complete embarrassment, and it's something that after everything that Davis has put in place and how meticulous he's been about everything, there's just nothing, no identity there. Everything just vanished. Okay, if they were trying to be clever because of how Coventry play, and there was no sign of it. There was a lot of people mentioned on socials afterwards about Davis Ball, like Davis Ball's got to go. That wasn't what we've come to see of Davis Ball.
Yeah, you said the word identity there, and I mean there was no identity. That did not did not represent any type of football that we've seen us play since he's come in, and that was the thing that probably irked me the most. Like, what was the plan? What was the plan? I don't really understand what the plan was. It was proper Sunday league type football. It was schoolboy stuff.
Worse, I would say. I had a conversation with Ben from Blues Breakdown. He stopped ghosting me, and we had a little discussion about it. He pointed out that the directness. So we probably kept possession for 2 or 3 balls around the back, maybe 4 or 5, and then decided to go long with it direct. He suggested that this was probably to do with trying to beat their press, which I can understand.
We've seen us do that before, haven't we? Like, I think we did it against Stockport. I think we did it against somebody else last season. I can't remember.
But
this was aimless.
It was aimless. But then when you've got one player up there who's receiving that ball or attempting to receive that ball, and no one else has followed it up, you're not winning the second ball. You're essentially just giving them possession back to come at us again.
Yeah.
And that's how it felt. We had our XG, and it wasn't the sending off. The sending off wasn't the catalyst that I think Chris Davis tried to spin a little bit. And let's not mention the yellow card rant.
We were terrible before the sending off. We'll get into that as well in a minute. But
our XG was 0.05 before the sending off. Like, that's terrible. That's shocking. Not good enough. 5 shots on goal, no shots on target.
I can't even remember the 5 shots at goal. I can't remember them at all.
Possession 36%. I think I missed a couple of the shots in the second half because I went off and did stuff at half time, came back and it
did something more interesting.
But the 36% possession. So we mentioned that identity. There was just nothing. Again.
I mean, we always knew that back in the Championship we wouldn't have as much possession as we had in League One. That was, I think, fairly obvious. But yeah, there was nothing that represented the team, that the style of play that Davis had built in the past year or so. I don't mind getting beat or drawing, but the manner in which we are losing games or dropping points is probably more frustrating. If we were playing well and just not getting the rub of the green, you kind of know that as long as confidence doesn't drop, and that's a concern as well at the moment, things will probably, because we're doing the right things, we'll probably get it right in the end anyway, and things will turn our way. but I'm not seeing it, especially not on Saturday. There was moments last night, which again we'll talk about soon, but that Coventry game was, I mean, it was just awful. It was pathetic. There was the defending, it just didn't seem to be the what. I'm not saying players down tools because it didn't, but there just seemed to be a lack of enthusiasm around that team as well to just win second balls, harry people, chase stuff down, close people down. There just seems so much wrong in that game from from the very first minute.
And there was no sign of it. So I was going to say there was no sign of it ever improving either. Not sometimes you'll watch the game and you're like, right, we've got a little bit of hope there. That just went on for like the whole game. There was just no spark at all.
I mean, it could have been 5 or 6 in reality.
Yep. Do you think the Duke's injury played a part in that? 'Cause obviously, it's not going to help.
I mean, they had a game. They would have had a game plan and some form of, some way of affecting the other end of the pitch with him up front. So, yeah, absolutely. It probably did make an impact. But what that doesn't do is swapping Dykes in for Dukes doesn't explain why you've got defenders making stupid challenges at the back, making rash challenges, getting themselves sent off, not closing down properly, scoring own goals. You can't blame that for that.
I don't think he meant to score the own goal, but he didn't react to it at all.
Well, he didn't, and it's just basic errors. It's like, when you're not playing well, you can't afford to have those basic errors throughout, no matter where you're on the pitch, because in the Championship you'll get punished for it.
And that's exactly what's happening at the moment. We're getting punished for it.
Yeah, and we're not particularly effective anywhere else on the pitch to cause enough damage to get away with it. So,
I don't think we're adventurous enough by design for that.
I thought there were moments last night in the first half where we tried to move the ball quicker.
Let's come on to that, because that's a little bit of a contrast, I think.
Yeah,
we did see something. You just mentioned the Robinson red card.
Yeah.
Few people trying to defend it, saying that it wasn't a red card. It wasn't a sending off. It wasn't a red card. It was a yellow card.
Well, it was. Yeah, it's 2 yellows, wasn't it?
Whether the ref sees it as a yellow card or not, you've given him that chance when you've got. Was it Laird that was covering it?
Yeah, he didn't need to do it. He didn't. I don't understand why he did it. But I just don't understand.
Wright's made the most of it, but he's going to.
I mean, it was a foul. It was a foul, wasn't it? Let's be honest.
Like Coventry under Lampard play like that. They go down looking for everything. They make the most out of everything. He's there screaming about every single decision that's made. That's his experience at a high level.
Davis was doing that last season in League One, wasn't he? We bought a lot of fouls and the amount of penalties and free kicks we got last season in League One that was completely unknown for us, because we had the rub of the green a lot last season. But that was 2 daft challenges. You can't legislate for that. It was that he deserved to be sent off, which is really annoying, because I was quite anti the signing, and after the Swansea game I was just like, you know what, he's probably my man of the match. Added a bit of balance in there, added a bit of an older head, a bit of nous, and then he goes and does that. Yeah, a bit of experience, and then he goes and does that.
To be the most hated man in Birmingham again after that. You've got to work yourself back up.
Yeah. It's just so disappointing. And then obviously we lost Laird in that game for a considerable period, so potentially might not be back until December time, which, given that Samuel got injured last night is a real worry. Now, I wanted to touch on the Laird thing because he blocked a cross or a shot in the first half, and he pulled up feeling his hamstring. I think I said to you guys that he'd been feeling that in the first half. He's gone in, he's come back out, and then I don't know how long it was before he had to get subbed off with a hamstring. It's obviously got much worse. Now, I wonder whether he's gone in there and said, "I'm feeling this," but he's been sent back out anyway, despite the fact he's got a bit of a twinge, bit of a niggle. And we've seen players we've seen this situation before, and players get re-injured if they've come back too soon. Dukes probably has been starting a game too soon because he obviously had no pre-season, etc. We've seen it happen a few times last season.
Seen it happen with Laird.
We've seen it happen with Laird. I'm just a little bit worried that we hear about Davis, and we'll talk about this later as well, like pre-planned subs and things like that because they haven't played many minutes. They don't want to get them injured. But on the flip side, sometimes he's putting players out there that we know have
too many minutes.
Yeah. I'm just a little bit concerned that we might have caused that. Not we, but we brought that on ourselves.
Not this podcast.
No, that we brought that on ourselves on Saturday, and now he's out for a much longer period. Whereas precautionary could have taken him off at half time, and he might have only been out for just a short while. But again, Laird has had a problem all his career with hamstrings. So
another one that fits that is Stansfield as well, because last season we saw him like every week pulling up, same injury. It was like 80 minutes, 75, 80 minutes, like done. Season, a few times, he doesn't look 100%, but we're persisting with it, and we will come on to it later because of those comments of these pre-planned subs and whatnot. But yeah, you've got to not overuse players. Use players enough.
Yeah, I mean,
got a squad for a reason.
I think my worry sometimes is because it's all about there's a lot of big thing about mentality, and we play at such, or we were playing at such high intensity that I think sometimes David just expects players to go out there and run through brick walls for him, and they will if they can, but if they're feeling something and they're concerned about it, then I think we have to listen to them. So, I mean, I might be completely wrong. It may be that Laird went in there at halftime, didn't say anything at all, but he was quite visibly holding his hamstring, and I can't have been the only person that saw that. I think their commentators, might have been Don Goodman actually, said that he saw him doing it as well. And so you can't tell me that people on the bench at Blues didn't notice it as well. But a few other things out of that one. I mean, defending was diabolical for the majority of that. Just obviously the Iwata-Peck partnership just looked an absolute shambles. I mean, I don't think I'm starting to worry about that. Iwata has been really, really poor for the last few games, and then
I think the big one was that the red card obviously resulted in Cashin coming in.
Yeah,
that was then at all in the third goal.
Yep.
Chair. So I've got the two sort of key players to talk about for the Cov game in terms of highlighting errors, if you want. Cashin for the third, and Allsop for the first and the third.
This is
first one, like, yes, it was a decent save, but pushed it right out into the area, the danger area. Anyone that's reacted, like the forward did a great job of pouncing on it, but you've got to like you put it in a lovely area for him to go in and just tap that in.
We're seeing with Allsop now why he has never played at a higher level. And I said this last season, so my concern always was with him that he has certain flaws in his game that will be exposed as he goes back up the league. And we're seeing it now. And even his distribution out of the back seems to have just like fallen off a cliff as well. And, you know, his long balls aren't as accurate.
I think that's in part with the way that we're playing in general,
Yeah,
though.
I mean, yeah, I think there's obviously there's a knock-on effect there. I think there is an impact there. Absolutely, 100% agree with you. But it's just even the short passes is like, I think he got out. He made a mistake on Saturday, and I think Coventry fluffed their lines, and we got away with it at that point. But he literally just give the ball straight back to them.
Yeah, I just think with the way that we're playing, it's difficult to single him out, but equally,
oh yeah, he's not being singled out because there's a lot of bad performances at the moment, but it is a problem when he's your last line of defence and the defence is looking pretty shaky.
Yeah. Well, that's why I put him in there, because ultimately, when you're a goalkeeper, you're relying on those lines ahead of you before you have to make yourself useful.
Yeah.
But then, like I say, I feel harsh sort of criticising the save, because it was a decent save, got down to it well, but it's just right out into that danger area. You see them in the warm-ups, you see them in training, trying to push the ball wide. Yeah. And it wasn't the worst part of that goal, let's be honest. It was the defending was...
Yeah, and a set piece, wasn't it, as well? So, yeah, I mean, the Cov game, is there anything else to really touch on it in that Cov game? Because
no.
I think there's just a lot of poor performances. Tactically, for me, it just felt all wrong. And I understand Ben's comments around like negating their press, but when these are just long, aimless balls forwards, which is what they were, it was Sunday league stuff or worse schoolboy stuff, if you will. It was just the manner of that defeat was just absolutely shocking. But it didn't recognise us at all.
Yeah. Before we move on to Sheffield Wednesday on last Tuesday, shall we get some 15-second opinions, because we got them for both Saturday and Tuesday, so we've got both games. You'll get where the divide is. There is an audible divide in there. So Dave, are you ready?
For it.
Right, okay. We'll maybe come in with some of the comments that we've had in chat as well, because we've got quite a bit just on the Ryan Allsop bits and pieces and defence. So let's do 15-second opinions and then maybe come on to those as well. Right.
15-second opinion.
3-0 down, away from home, down to 10 men, and we're still knocking the ball around the back for some unknown reason. I thought we cracked it when we did the counter-attack against Blackburn, but no. Davis has got to adapt and tell his players to actually play quickly and forwards.
1 step forwards, 2 steps back. Set up completely wrong today. I don't know what we need to do to get this working, but stubbornness isn't the answer, that's for sure.
Alright lads, Jasper from Toronto here. Only silver lining is at least I didn't pay 45 quid to watch that, poor sods. For better or worse, the only thing that's going to keep Davies in the job is the home form, I'm afraid.
Hi lads, I know Saturday was a poor performance, but let's not overreact. We've played 5 teams who will fancy their chances of a top 6 finish this season, and we've won as many as we've lost. It's a long season. Keep the faith. Keep right on.
Another hard watch last night, boys. Substitutions wrong. Doyle and Roberts should have stayed on. Desperately needs some ideas. Game we should have won but could have easily lost. Signing off now, off to Nashville. Stay bold, keep right on.
A lot to unpack from last night. Cashin was at fault for both goals. The substitutions just made us look a lot worse. Going into Friday, if we don't pick up a win, it's going to be a long international break for Chris Davis, I think.
Last night was probably the first time in a long time where it felt like it was
a bit of a chore again to go to Blues. I actually felt like I had something better I could have done with my Tuesday night than go down and watch us against Sheffield Wednesday.
Hello, boys. I'm going to say about the positives. We didn't lose. Kept that home run going. Something does need to be done now. We're not on form at the minute. So anyway, bring on Wrexham on Friday at the Blues.
Hi, Stuart from Bourneville. If we'd won last night, which we looked very comfortable in doing after the first 20-25 minutes, we'd be in 6th place. I really think everybody needs to have a little reset in terms of where we are with Chris Davis.
Hi lads, we'll all have an opinion on the decisions of Chris Davis, but to actively boo the substitutions is just uncalled for and counterproductive. It doesn't help anybody. Keep right on.
Are we gonna? Should we discuss a few of them first, or do you want to bring in any comments, Dave? Have you got some?
Go into those, and I'll bring some of the comments in
So
afterwards.
I've made a few notes on there. Firstly, Nashville, stay bold. Enjoy Nashville. That's it's going to be a lot nicer than England, I think, this time of year.
Well, Wales,
yeah. Davis adapting and stubborn were a couple of comments that were in there early on. You can't. The stubbornness isn't gonna cut it. Now, for me, I think we've mentioned it before. Probably even mentioned it today that he's maybe not being stubborn. The fact that we are trying different things, looking a little bit different, is maybe not just persisting with the same old style that isn't working.
Mm-hmm.
It's not enough. Like, there's not, and other than 10 minutes last night. Oh, no one else could hear that. Dave, because Dave, come back on camera, please.
What?
Explain to the class. Why are we laughing?
Because I squeaked. I slid my slipper along the inside.
He had a vegan fart. It was a vegan fart.
It wasn't. Sadly, that's not the truth. It was it was one of my slippers on the inside of an IKEA ward chest of drawers.
Oh.
But
no one else.
But I'm glad that I've managed to humour you with it. It was getting a bit miserable.
Right, let's back to misery, because I don't like this laughter. It's horrible.
I've gone really red. It weren't even me that farted. It was Dave.
You have gone really red.
I have.
Sure
I found that very, very funny. I just stopped breathing momentarily.
So
I keep my feet away from the edges of the little drawers that my desk is resting on. Anyway, back to you, Chris.
Yeah. What do you think, Dewey? I think he's.
I mean, yeah, he is trying different stuff. It's obviously not effective at this point in time.
Not adventurous enough.
It's not. It's definitely. There were moments where last night where in the first half, for about half an hour, we started to move the ball quicker with a little bit more intent. A lot like we did against Swansea. But the lack of ideas, invention, creativity in the final third is just we've got players that in theory should be able to create more, should be able to get people off their seats, for want of a better phrase.
I thought first half last night, until the goal, it was.
But I didn't. I actually thought we scored against the run of play. I thought Sheffield Wednesday were probably just not the run of play as such, but I thought they were better than us in the open exchanges. Then we scored, settled down, and looked much better. They grew into it towards the end. Then second half was just an abomination when you throw in the pre-planned substitutes as well. I actually thought we looked quite comfortable until we conceded the goal, obviously cashing, and then awful goalkeeping from Allsop.
And to be fair to him, as he went off at half time, turned to the fans in the tilt and put his hands up and said it was on him, owned up to it, didn't just.
Which one was that, Cashin or
No, Allsop.
Allsop. Did he do this? Did he put his hands up like this?
No, he went.
How did he? Fair enough.
No, Cashin just said, "I'm going to go out and do it again second half." Overreaction was another thing that was mentioned. Now, people might say that we're overreacting about it. I'm not calling for his head. I think that we just need to create some identity again. It's not necessarily going back to what we had last year.
So let's get it right. There are people out there that are saying Daly's out or he's only got 5 games, etc., right? I don't think any of us are in that camp. I'm very much Davis in. He got us 111 points last season. Okay, with easily the best squad League One has probably ever seen, but he still did it. We were dominant. He has got more than enough credit in the bank with me, but he does have to change. There has to be something that he can do to try and turn this around. Now, it's not all on Davis' shoulders. We have spoken about this previously. I spoke about this in the summer as well. So the recruitment this summer has felt a little bit off, and just our transfer business in general has felt a little bit off. The big thing for me is we have lost an awful lot of momentum from the squad we had in League One coming up into Championship. So many changes, I think, has had a knock-on effect with just like the general environment within the squad. A lot of changes, that momentum just disappeared. Now, I understand why they've done it, because they're in the club are in a rush. They want to try and build a much better squad again to try and keep us competitive. And we're competitive to a point, but probably not enough. At what point do we start looking at or pointing the finger at recruitment? I've said this before, like, yes, you bought in Damari Gray, but you're also paying Damari Gray ludicrous wages. And to be honest, last night I put in the group, like, whatever we're paying him, it's far too much. And within about a minute, he scored that equaliser. So I'd take credit for that one.
And my bonus point.
We spent a lot of money on Kyogo, who is, there were moments where he looks very, very good, but he's not scoring the goals he should do.
Your Celtic mate said that he will miss chances, but he'll come back for more.
Which he is doing, but he's not putting them away. I'm still telling you, those goals in Scotland are far bigger than the ones in England. We spent a lot of money on Brighter Side Samuel. We've spent money on loan fees, and there's some players there that I scratched my head at. The Beadle thing I scratched my head at. The Cashin thing, like, I was a bit unsure about that one. And the Kumas one, obviously, they've already said that. I was a little bit unsure about him as well.
We haven't every podcast since we've signed him. I think you've said that.
Yeah, he's my new bully boy. My big issue here isn't really around those as such, but it's more about what we had. We didn't bring in another left back, a proper athletic left back to compete with Cochrane. We didn't bring in a box to box or defensive, physical, athletic midfielder, and we didn't go out and probably look for another forward. And my worry always was we spent too much on wages or loan fees or signing on fees for people like Gray and Doyle and Asai Samuel and etc. So I don't know. I don't know what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to say I just think we have misplaced we've misspent, really, is what I'm saying. I think we probably should have been a little bit more savvy with what we've done.
Exactly what you're saying. Ben from Blues Breakdown, evening Ben, has I think that's pretty much what you're saying, is that we've added good players, but we've left ourselves weaker in others where we needed to strengthen.
So, I mean, he's still got a competitive squad there, and still a squad that should be able to compete. And that's where I think Davis needs to adapt and tweak things to fit the players rather than what he would normally want to do. So it's not to this extent, but you've got Amorim at Man United at the moment that is just completely fixed on playing the same formation every single game, no matter. And they've spent money, they've brought players in, and he just won't move from that. And where they sitting now, in the bottom half of the table somewhere, they've lost like multiple games. That guy's hair is massive. It's similar to that. Davis has to, like, if it means change formation. I don't know if he will do that, but things have to be tweaked and changed to fit the personnel. Even more so now that we've just got all these injuries mounting up. He has to try and move away and try and figure something out with the players available for him now. And then if we've got money in January, which I don't think there'll be a lot, based on what little was left at the back end of the summer window, we can maybe go again and look at what we can do. But I think there's a lot. You can't just blame Davis for this. I think it's a group effort. I think group blame can be placed here on the recruitment team and Craig Gardner as well.
I don't disagree with you. I also think that there's probably an element of wanting to go out and sign names, make a statement, and then finding out that actually,
like the marquee signing Jack Robinson. Yep.
Well, ultimately, I think that probably came down to the fact that because we
had no money left, so we didn't really have any more wiggle room. So
creating your fantasy football team, but then you've got to add the last 3 or 4 players to it. And
we spunked our load too early, is what I said, didn't I? At that point, and that's what I was always concerned about. There are good players there, as Ben from Blues Breakdown said, but we haven't. The squad isn't anywhere near as strong as it should be, but it's still a good squad. It's still a decent squad. It's still a good championship squad that should be performing better. On that note, we've got one space left, haven't we, in the squad from memory?
Yeah, because was it the Buchanan and
yes, yeah.
Scott Wright.
I said, I think you asked me the question, was there someone we could go out and get? No, not Dele Alli, so don't start that one again. But there's every chance we might have to go out and look for somebody now, because you've got Laird out for 3 months. We don't know how long Asai Samuel's out for. We're going to have to probably rely on Samsted back at right back, or Neumann have to move out there. Cashin, I don't really ever want to see in a Birmingham shirt ever again, but I feel like it's going to have to happen anyway.
So what did Lee find a club after leaving at the end of the season?
I have no idea. I think he became South Korean president, didn't he, or something?
Different. He has found a team. I've just had a look. He now plays for Daejeon Hana Citizen FC. I was just gonna say he bought all the clubber, didn't he? So he's basically like kitted out. But no, he's joined someone else.
So that was a bit of a tangent, because we were talking about the Sheffield Wednesday game. Yet again, done by basic defending errors, set pieces. That second half was shocking.
Minus the last 15 minutes, including stoppage time or something.
I mean,
because not that it was particularly good, but there was a desire there for them.
Yeah,
and it was almost like, right, go and attack them, just go and get something out of it. And the urgency, which we haven't seen, like even in the first half. Personally, I thought we were better in the first half up to the goal. I thought we looked much
We
better.
scored in like the 8th minute, didn't we, or something? It was really early on.
That early? Felt
I
longer.
thought it was super early. I might be wrong. I don't know, but it felt like it was really early.
It felt longer to me.
Maybe, I don't know. I might be wrong.
Well, maybe it was a bit longer than that.
You were wrong. You're 60 seconds wrong. 9th minute.
9th minute.
See,
There you go.
I knew that it was longer than minutes. I'm not going to lie. It felt.
So, which means
like
it was 8 minutes something when we scored. Which I thought that was the case. So,
well, maybe we did control it a little bit longer than it felt like then. I felt like we looked better, and then seemed to go off the boil, and just
there were moments
like we did last season, when we get our noses in front and then try and control play and just see the game out, and that's how it felt a little bit to me. And
there's definitely an element of that.
We're not good enough to do that. We leak silly goals at the moment. We're not solid at all. Unfortunately, Cashin's the latest one to come in, and was at fault for 3 goals in 2 games, or majorly played a part in 3 goals in 2 games.
I mean, he is the main protagonist in those 3 goals. Absolutely. I mean, Allsop can have played his part in 1, but not 2 actually. But yeah, he's been the main culprit there. But I mean, it doesn't just stop at those. I think the second goal they scored last night, he was the one that gave it away in the first place with a really awful diagonal ball, and then came back, and God knows what he was doing. But remember, I said to you when he first signed and he first played against, I think it's Sheffield United, that his whole body, his mechanics of the way he runs, and everything just looks off.
Yeah,
it's still that still bothers me. He doesn't run like a footballer. No. He runs a bit like, you remember Ryan Woods? You'll always look like it. Was it Ryan Woods? Looked like he'd shit himself.
Yeah,
there's a bit of that about him, isn't there?
Well, you see, we sort of read that report on him that was from, I think, from when he was at Derby, was it? And it said that he's not the biggest, and he's not the quickest, but he reads the game well, and he'll read the flight of the ball well, which, like, we're seeing completely the opposite, that he can't read the flight of the ball well, and that he can't read the game very well to account for the lack of pace. I mean, there was that Kenny Cunningham comparison made for a player like that, and we're seeing the complete opposite of that. And part of me, like last night, looking at that Sheffield Wednesday team, they were a big side, like a lot of tall guys.
We are
in there.
Small.
But that's for me. You've got Neumann on the bench, who's a big guy. He's played on the left-hand side in Germany. Granted, left of the 3, but he's done it.
Yeah,
that was much more of the fit for last night, especially on the back of a mistake.
I thought he was gonna. I thought he'd be back in the team tonight. Last night, sorry. I thought
Tuesday. I thought
it'd be back in, because if you're gonna go back to 2 right footers in the central defensive partnership, it's going to be against bottom of the league Sheffield Wednesday, or second bottom of the league Sheffield Wednesday. That was my gut feeling, which was obviously wrong. He's certainly going to appear on Saturday, whether that's for Saturday, Friday, whether that's centre back or right back. I think he's gonna. If he doesn't, I'm because you've got Kiefer Moore in that Wrexham team as well, which we'll talk about in a bit.
That's on my list for the Wrexham game to talk about. But so people have started talking now, and there's these rumours that are starting to go around about Neumann and Davis having a bust up. I'd heard that there was a bust up. I hadn't heard. Someone told me or showed me a message last night saying that there was a bust up at Stoke. Between Neumann in the dressing room with Davis. That's why he didn't play against Swansea. And then there was apparently a bust up with Davis and Neumann because he didn't play against Swansea. And there's these different things. And now they're only gonna increase the rumours and stuff are only going to increase if you've got this player who was such a highly rated centre back in Germany can't get in the team when we've got players that are flapping at everything and conceding these sloppy goals.
He's David. I think if Neumann if they had a bust up, I think he probably would have maybe not been in the squad. I mean, Fujimoto's only just got back in the squad after pissing in his pond, hasn't he? So in his koi carp pond, which Davis was very upset about.
Night,
yeah. Yes. Yeah. So I mean, he was only on the bench last night because we didn't have anybody else. We have Daniel Isky was on the bench, wasn't he, as well? So we're going to be down to more kids, I think, on Friday. I'm
going to point out there that Zarking in chat has just mentioned about bust up in the changing room. This isn't me saying that this has happened. This is like people are starting to talk about it, and quite potentially based on absolutely nothing other than he's not playing. I'm going to make up a rumor that
it's going to be there's someone will hear something or someone will say something and there'll be different variations of it. It's just Chinese whispers in it, and it all just evolves into something. And actually, maybe nothing happened, or maybe there was some form of disagreement. But I think we said last week this happens on a weekly basis at football clubs. There are disagreements and arguments all the time. It's normal, certainly if you're losing as well. I don't think there was what we would class as a proper bust up.
You never know. It might be in series 2 of the.
Well, there we go. Yeah,
we'll wait and find out, won't we?
I'm already not looking forward to watching
that. So one of the other comments. I've got.
Well, should we bring on some comments, Chris?
I've still got some to touch on the 15-second opinions. One of them was it being a chore, and I very much get that. At the moment, it's not enjoyable. Like
we were spoiled last season. This is the thing. This is still probably still better than we've been subjected to in previous seasons. Not the Coventry game.
Yeah.
I mean, where are we at the moment? We're still sitting mid-table, right, after yesterday's draw. We're still 3 points off of probably top 3 or something. I'm not sure. I think Coventry have won like 4 or 5-0 away at Stoke and away at Millwall tonight. So they are starting to, break away with whoever's at their Middlesbrough or something, I think.
And in previous years, we'd have just lost 2-0 last night, or we'd have scored first.
Yeah, absolutely. There's no way we would have managed to come back and, get that equaliser in whatever minute it was. And, there's still a bit of a mentality, like a mentality around the team, but something isn't right. There's a lot of things that aren't right, and we can point at tactics, we can point at Davis, we can point at the players. It's probably a group. It's a group thing, definitely recruitment, as I've already said. But people need to start banding together, and something needs to change within that first team setup. And that doesn't mean getting rid of Chris Davis. It means that, he needs to change his tactics. I'm not saying the style of play. We should still try and work towards that possession-based style of play, but we need to be a little bit more adventurous. And we need to somehow become
set pieces. We need to be better at set pieces, attacking
in both both boxes. Like set pieces last season against us were a problem as well. We got done by set pieces a couple of times last season, quite a few times last season, that it didn't really ever get brought up because we were winning most weeks.
We brought it up, and then we got shot down for being negative. And it was like, no, we're not being negative. We're just mentioning that we should be better at this.
Got shot down for us not being that adventurous as well, didn't we? So I think I got accused of not being a fan of not liking Chris Davis, and that wasn't my point. I mean,
one more thing that I'm going to quickly mention from the 15-second opinions, and then I'll let Dave bring some of the comments in. I'm going to merge them together. So subs and booing. because they were sort of intertwined. Now, for me, the Doyle one, I know that Davis has addressed it and said he hasn't played much football. No, I mean, you haven't given him many minutes, to be fair, Chris. But he was your man in the match last night.
100% best player on the pitch by a mile.
And I don't care what your pre-plan is. He wasn't tired. He wasn't like blowing. In fact, he looked. I don't know how it looked on TV, but he looked a bit shocked that he was going off.
Why the fuck, right? Why the fuck are we having pre-planned substitutions in a league game anyway at home against Sheffield Wednesday? Like that. Why are we doing It's not fucking pre-season. It's actually started. There's been a few times he's mentioned about pre-planned subs. Like if they're not fit enough to be starting the game, bring them on in the second half or bring them on as a substitute. If they're playing well, don't take them off. If they're your most creative players, don't take them off. Like there was, I think those two combined about 2 minutes before they got subbed. I think Doyle had squared it for Roberts, and Roberts had a shot, or vice versa. And then within minutes, like Davis had taken them on it. Davis had taken them both off. I understand the frustration of fans booing that. I don't necessarily say I agree with it. The optics for that, and with Wagner being in the crowd, is not ideal.
People have paid their money,
but these players
they're entitled to. I'm just gonna. I'm not like I'm. I didn't boo. I don't think that it helps anyone. I agree. But I completely understand that people are watching this game where, in a season when we haven't been consistent enough, we haven't been good enough. They've got this guy who should have played more minutes, who we've heard is very highly rated. He's having.
You can see when he touches the football how good he is.
He's having a great performance. Oh, he's going off. Like I can understand why people are frustrated and why they get to that point. They're paying hard-earned money to go and watch these games, and we haven't been at it. And we are. Then when we are at it, one of the players that is driving that performance. Oh no, we'll take him off. And Dave Roberts for me was the other one who was just starting to really get involved in the game and looked like he could turn it.
If they're impacting the game, throw your pre-planned subs in the bin. Right, there's clearly when we made those subs that we fell apart. It was just a capitulation. Really, we were quite lucky that we didn't end up conceding more or just lose complete control of the game. We managed to keep it close enough that we could score that equaliser at the end. Pre-planned subs for me, 8 games into a season or however many it is nonsense. It's absolute nonsense. If they're not fit enough, don't start them, bring them on in the second half. And, we just have to wait longer to see Tommy Doyle play. They were playing well. They weren't showing any signs of gassing at all. I mean, they might be. I mean, they might have been, but I didn't see it. If we're winning 3-0 and we're comfortable, then yeah, fine. But we weren't. Yeah, and it's a game that really we should have been looking to win and keeping our best players on the pitch and giving us the best possible opportunity for us to win. I'm not having the pre-planned subs nonsense. It's just there's a lot of this happens. We know at the 60, 65th minute he's always going to make substitutions, and I don't really agree with it at all.
It's exactly what you've just said, though. If we are at the point where if it's 2-0, 3-0, yes, okay, you can make that change. Maybe have it so that it's you pre-approved, penciled in. This is what's going to happen. But when you're playing a team that you really should be putting to the sword, don't negatively. And no, I don't want to say negatively affect the team, because it's not. It wasn't negative changes. The players that were coming on weren't worse, but he was having a really good game. You don't need to take that out.
The pre-planned subs in League One were probably more acceptable because more often than not, we were winning those games. We were comfortable with controlling them, and the person we were bringing on in the second half was almost like for like. That wasn't really the case yesterday. I mean, Peck is still a very good footballer, so that's. But why not take Iwata off? Although we had the issue with the right back and things like that. But I think I said my piece on the pre-planned subs. It just winds me up, especially in the current situation. It's another thing that I'd like to see and just adapt. And I mean, we're going to struggle now anyway because we've got so many injuries. But yeah, it was just another thing last night that wound me up. It's very, very hard to.
It wound lots of people up because, and that's why there was the outburst of boos.
I understand people boo, and I don't think I would have done it myself. I mean, it was loud. You guys were there, but I mean, on TV, it was very evident. Even the commentators mentioned something about it. It's just, it was very loud. But God knows what Wagner did think to that, because it can't have gone. I can't imagine that went down well.
Right, Dave, are you ready with some comments? Now, before you bring them on, Zarking, I think it was, said that, are we aware that people can't hear us when the comments are on the screen? So
they can.
Hopefully they can.
It's fine. It's fine.
Give us a nod in the chat if you can't hear us.
If you can't hear Chris,
any of us when we're reading this.
There's many reasons. Right. Okay. So for how are we going to test this? So do you want to just okay? Let's put this first one up. From Mark King, most of them, to be fair, are from Mark King. It's kind of his chat. Chris, just give us some audio just so we can check that you are there.
Zarking.
Shit, you're not. He's right. We can hear Matthew. We can't hear you. Let's just get you plumbed into that. So talk among yourselves.
It's all right. I'll just. So Zarking, it is not marking, Dave.
I wasn't saying Mark King is the guy from level 42. I haven't been saying
Mar. It's I think so. The comment was, at this point, it's not even about results. It's about performances. I'm not sure why you're so certain we will get it right eventually either. I've been watching a different team the past season or so. Do you know what? I'm not sure that we're sure or certain that we'll get it right. Hopeful. He's a young manager learning the game, learning the management game.
It's his second season in football management.
Yep.
Now, despite the fact that there were some pedestrian and very formulaic, robotic performances last season that maybe weren't as adventurous as we probably would have liked, we still went out and won the majority of games and record points total. He's adapting to the Championship. He's still a very, very smart guy. He's obviously a very driven guy. He's an astute manager who will have to. He knows he's going to have to work out, because if he doesn't, then I think he gets a lot longer than people think. But I've got faith he can do. He can do it. He probably needed a little bit more help from the recruitment team to get players that actually will better fit the system. But you've got to have faith in him, I think, based on what we've seen from him so far. And he adapted last season as well. The people don't forget that it wasn't turtling up as such. It was just making us more compact to make us a bit more of a winning machine in League One.
So do you know, part of my thinking is that he's come into this season, and first season in the Championship for him as well. So essentially for all of the talk of we're going to be on par with relegated clubs with parachute payments and whatever else, essentially we're not, because we're still like the money that's there. We've spent big over the last 2 seasons. So he's coming into this season, into the Championship, having to organise a side that's stepping up from League One, from a division where he's set up a team that's basically dominated 95 to 98% of games that they've been in the season before. Tried it, and it feels to me like he's maybe panicking a touch, and it's not desperation, but some of the things just like that he's feeling the pressure a little bit.
The celebrations last night for 2-2 would suggest that he is feeling the pressure.
Sheffield Wednesday.
That was proper, almost Lee Clark-esque. Or was it the Burnley game? Or I can't remember when he kicked in the Hoardings or whatever.
Yeah.
There was an element of that running. Yeah, was it Bolton? Yeah, running down the touchline, and just.
Bear in mind that was for league survival.
No, this was it wasn't the game. It wasn't at their. It wasn't the Bolton away game. It was there was a home game. I think it was
boot in the advertisement.
Yeah, I think it was Burnley. Maybe, I'm not sure, but that shows that he is feeling it. I think he is feeling the pressure.
Let's rattle through some more of these questions. Try and
go
run
ahead.
through a few of these and a bit more of a succinct manager, so we can get through a few more of them. Here we go. You should be able to on chat now hear this. What is the point of having Kyogo and Stano and not playing balls behind and down the channels? It's crazy.
I mean, can't massively disagree with like the movement, the two of them, and then we've mentioned it before though. We're very slow at moving the ball forward, and when you've got the runs from those two and you don't make passes to them.
There were moments yesterday where we did see it happen a couple of times. We need to get better at getting them into the game. But that said, I think Kyogo, he still probably had good about 8 chances, good, decent 8 chances, 8, 9 chances made for him. And that's without us being overly adventurous. But I think if you play, the more we play people like Doyle and Roberts, maybe even Fujimoto, I don't know. I think we will probably start to see more opportunities for both those players. We don't know if Stansfield's even fit now, do we?
No.
I think he's.
I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if he just plays him again and again. And again, strap it up.
But yeah, I completely agree. We're not playing, certainly not playing to Kyogo's strengths. I think with Stansfield, you get more of a bit all-rounder. He's not quite as intelligent in that way, and his movement's not of the same level as Kyogo, and he's more of a workhorse, I think, and
but then better on the ball. And a couple of the chances that you see Kyogo have last night, you'd probably put your money on Stano.
Yeah, I mean, he had that the one where he went through on goal. He hesitated a little bit, didn't he? But I mean, that was very, very good defending. The one in the first half was a half chance. I don't think like.
I mean that I think you've been very I don't know what's the word, soft on him there. Maybe
Which one?
That chance just after Stansfield gone off a few minutes.
That was it was the edge of the box. He just turned. It was just a half chance, wasn't it? It wasn't really like it wasn't anything.
The one where he was making the run into the box and the defenders come back on him. On about different chances quite late on.
That was the second half then, was it?
No, You're talking on the earlier one, aren't you, Matthew?
So so I actually mentioned them both. So the one there was really, really good defending for the second one. He did hesitate, but I mean that was excellent defending. But he probably should just got his head up early and just smashed it. Probably would have put it over on current form. Then the first one was more of just I think he got himself into a fairly decent position, but he was quite far out and he just spun and he just scuffed the shot at the keeper. But that was probably a half chance, if that. He is getting opportunities, and he does create his own opportunities. He's still making those runs. He's not hiding. He's still putting himself about. Yes, last night he was actually pretty good, but it's just getting him more involved. And you're only going to get him more involved if you have players in the team that are going to get him involved. So it is people like your Doyles, your Roberts, your Leonards.
Another one then. Another one we can bring in. Same contributor. Chris Davis, in love with Iwata and Paik. It's pathetic. Are they not producing at the moment? They are not producing at the moment and need to be changed.
Well, I mean, they were changed. They were changed last night, weren't they? So, and we said that. We said this. We said. Well, I think we had a chat in our group and said that it might take an injury to rake them up. But although we said last week that with these 2 games coming up, he said there was going to be changes. The problem for me is Iwata. It's not Paik, but
I thought Iwata had a good game last night.
I think he was probably better at right back than he was in centre midfield.
Oh, I thought he was doing all right.
I would
granted it sometimes feels different when you're at the game.
Yeah, I mean, he's not been very good for a few games. He is more a problem. He's not as good on the ball. He's not good enough on the ball in centre midfield to impact games in this league. It was fine in in League One, but not in this league.
We had the chat before the game, didn't we? And I said that's the midfield 2 that I would have gone with was Doyle and Iwata.
Yeah.
And the reason was that, and I think I said it last
You
week,
want that more
he's the more combative one out of the 3 of them. So you put him alongside Doyle, you've got someone who offers that protection. But then you made a very good point of, if you're going to play Peck and Doyle against anyone, surely it's Sheffield Wednesday at home.
Yeah, and that was my feeling. And it's not like Peck doesn't put his foot in and close people down and win the ball back. Like he has I think I don't have it on me, but I think his ball recovery is pretty high.
Yep.
Is he as defensive as Iwata? No, but at this point in time, I think we probably need to be looking at someone that can, still do a bit of that dirty work, but it can be progressive. And if you got him and Doyle next to each other, that's the next step for me. You've got to try those 2 together. Whether the next game is the game to do that, I don't know. But
do you know what though? For me, with what Zarking's saying, then it completely. Oh, sorry, Misa King. I saw that he said it's Misa. I can see Friday night against Wrexham, and
that's in caps, Chris. I think you meant to shout it.
Mr. King.
He's up. I can see on Friday night going straight back to Peck and Iwata, and what I can actually see is potentially Doyle playing as well, but going into that number 10.
He needs to be deeper to affect the game.
I completely agree, but that's
he can see more what's going on in front of him. Yep. He can dictate the play better.
It showed.
He needs to start the next game. He absolutely he is. If Davis drops him in favour of those 2, I still got a lot of love for those guys, but people are right that it needs to be broken up. Doyle's got to start for me, which again we'll get on to later. Any other comments in there?
Yeah, a couple more. I'm just going to bring through a couple of things which you briefly kind of touched on. Firstly, I don't think I'll be running down the touchline after scoring an equaliser in a game we should have won. I think that's kind of we kind of agree on that.
I mean, I think it's fine for fans in that situation to be celebrating.
I barely celebrated when we equalised.
I didn't see you running on the touchline, Chris.
I sort of shuffled down my row a little bit. For me, like fans, players, yeah, fair enough. But shout out to Lyndon Dykes, who in the melee of all the players celebrating, went and grabbed the ball and was like, "Lads, come on, we've got we might be able to nick this."
And you know what? He was all right when he came on as well. Actually, he causes problems for the opposition. Yeah.
Okay, one more quickly, and then maybe move on
to Wrexham. Yeah.
Again, something you both alluded to, league position wise. We just need to relax a bit. Everything's going to be okay. Kind of.
it's down to the players, not Chris. And we're only 5 points behind second. Everything's going okay. Just need to go for the kill more.
Chris, but Chris is in charge of those players. He's put that system in place, so he has to take responsibility for it. We aren't saying he should go at all. We're just saying things need to change.
Be more adventurous.
It is be more adventurous, but obviously without becoming more susceptible at the back. I mean, you can't legislate for those errors, for the basic errors, individual errors that we're making all over the pitch, not just at the back. But ultimately, he's picking this team, and there's a confidence thing there as well. I think there's got to be a confidence thing in the team. It's the first time in a little while that this squad, albeit it's changed quite a bit, where you can probably visibly see that it's this run of games is affecting the squad. But it's his job to motivate them. It's his job to create, manage, tweak the system to make them more effective. And, if he does that, you would like to think that some of these individual errors would be reduced. They won't go away because it's football. People make errors every single game. Some go punished, some go unpunished. But it's up to him to find, because one of the biggest issues we've got here is he doesn't know his best 11, and we don't know his best 11. We could probably have a good shot at it. I think he may have got a little bit closer to it last night, but he doesn't know, and he's still trying to find it. And he had that issue last season, and I think it took about 10, 11 games for him to get it where he wanted. Injuries drove some of that. Goalkeeping errors drove some of that. There are going to be further changes as we go through the next few weeks. I think the international break is probably going to be quite key. We might see a few extra changes. Hopefully, a few players will be back after that as well. He's got to find it soon. The problem is we've got your two very good right backs. Probably not going to be available for quite a while now.
Can Dele Alli play right back?
Fuck off.
That no.
That is a no.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
Any more, Dave?
I mean, there's a lot more. It's mainly things that we've already been covering, to be honest. Misa, again, just saying wants to see Leonard and Doyle together.
So that'd be more of a concern for me, because neither of them are very industrious, are they? I think you would then need, if you play those two, you'd have to play Iwata. You could play Leonard in the 10. I'd happily see Leonard in the 10 because he has played there before. And then Doyle and Iwata as those centre midfield players. But you would need someone a bit more industrious in there with them, because those two probably wouldn't be enough.
Okay, maybe one more for now. Again, our most prolific contributor. Thank you. David should have experimented more last season when he had the time.
How do you say it, Dave?
I think it's Mazar.
Mazar.
Mazar. I'm gonna pronounce it differently every time.
No, you've got to shout it though.
No, you only shout it if it's typed in caps. Misa. He should have experimented more last season when he had the time. Not now when we need points on the board. Chance missed.
I think he did experiment last season.
He did. Towards the end of the season as well, the shackles did come off a bit more, didn't they? And we did play a bit more expansive as games sort of after we'd won the league. he did open a bit more. But again, like they probably knew they were going to be flipping this squad as well. So I mean, you're experimenting with players that aren't going to, they thought might not be in the championship next season.
Yeah, there's one more which is quickly worth coming in. MFS.
We have mentioned that.
Have we mentioned that one as well?
I think we've mentioned that quite regularly over the past year.
Well, so okay,
it is a problem.
Let me just read it out then, so people that are listening. Why are we conceding so much on set pieces and not scoring enough from them?
Nothing grounds on set piece duty.
I think it's him and Huddleston, isn't it? That they have some form of.
So you said I don't know about that. As far as I was aware, it was Jonathan Grounds, and that would be a concern. just like bring someone in that specifically handles set piece. Go and get the fella from the what's it? Is it the Danish team that have like scored 17 goals from set pieces or something this season?
I don't know.
Icelandic or something.
I've no
What's
idea.
Danish midlads?
Those they're the guys, the ones that have got some link to Brentford. They're on saying, yeah, there's some data. They use, yeah, I think their owner. There's a link between the two of them. Pretty sure.
I'm not sure it's just enough about. It's just not just scoring from set pieces either. It's corners again. How many of those corners last night didn't actually make it past their first man?
Do you know what though? There was a few that were actually better last night, and
there was two. Cashin had two opportunities at the far post where he probably
scored from one of them.
Should have done much better with one of them. The delivery there was a lot better. Doyle was brought in because his part of the reason Doyle was brought in was because he was a very good set piece taker. We've not seen much come from him yet, but from a defending point of view, we do seem to get it wrong quite a lot on set pieces. It feels like we do, and I think that's maybe down to zonal potentially.
Yeah. Like I mean, we're going back probably about 3 or 4 years or something now. Was it back when Karanka was in there and we had a conversation about zonal marking? I fucking hate it. You've got no accountability if you're zonal marking. Well, you have, but
if you end up with someone that's 5'5" marking a 6'3" centre back or something, like Jay Stansfield against Stoke, but there needs to be they just need to be smarter. And
you've got someone who's 6'5". Let's put our big man on him, not fucking.
But I mean, for me, I mean, they need to get better at it. Davis mentions it as well. He hasn't shied away from it. He's mentioned it quite a few times, but they just absolutely need to get better at that one way or another. And it just, like, what do they fucking do? Like, what do they do in training? Sometimes I wonder, because the patterns of play, the set pieces, patterns of play in the final third, the set pieces, just.
So the ones that hit the first man and the ones that go straight into the keeper's hand, they're the two that are frustrating for me, because as a footballer, you are paid every week to kick a ball around, and dead balls should be the easiest ones for you to take. There's no pressure on you to take them. It's like you're not taking a penalty. You've just literally got to drop the ball in there, and
right.
That's why they're so frustrating for me. I've got a few bits that hadn't been spoken about the Sheffield Wednesday game before we move on.
Cool.
One of them was the unbeaten since Davis has taken charge. 28 at home, 28 home league games.
Is that just him, or were we including the ones under out at the end of the season before? Because there's a few games.
Don't know. So that 28 home league games is the record, but we are unbeaten since Davis has been in charge.
Unbeaten since Davis, but the run started before him.
Yeah, before that.
Yeah.
It was nice to get that very late equaliser to sort of keep that intact. And it's like people keep mentioning about this Fortress St Andrews and the home games. Like I'm not there thinking that we're unbeatable there, because the way that we're playing at the moment, like even last night, a better team will come and beat us. We've got to shape up for it. But it's nice to have that to defend, and it gives us that target. The other thing that I've got is the Boss injury, which we've obviously mentioned.
Because he was back. I don't know if he was told to go back on, or they weren't willing to make the sub at that point, but he couldn't run at all. So, yeah, we've touched on that already. How bad that is, I don't know. Stansfield obviously injured also. We already had one academy kid on the bench last night, and he brought Fujimoto in from the cold. Like, what is the bench going to look like on Friday? Because Anderson was supposed to be close to returning, and apparently he's re-injured himself now. So we're going to be. Yeah, it's going to be. You could end up with like Frank Tatum and one of the other kids on the bench.
You never know. Sometimes it's the making of players, isn't it? But apart from
might end up having.
They won't get on the pitch.
Well, you never know. He might be forced into it at some point. He might have to absolutely force his hand, and he have to play a kid.
I mean, we're going to talk about the team in a minute. So, but you get forced into it, and you end up playing Iwata at right back, and you've got Samstead on the bench. What must Samstead be thinking? But part of me understands the reasoning for that, and Iwata was involved a lot more.
I thought he looked all right at right back, and he was willing to put crosses in, which was fine. So yeah.
But do you know what? From what we've seen from Samstead before, he's not afraid to get forward, so it might not have been a terrible change at the time. The other one was, we haven't mentioned it. We've talked about the rest of the game, but the Stansfield goal, right in the 9th minute, I think it was, wasn't it?
That's it. Yeah, 8 minutes something.
I mean, unbelievable take.
It's a great strike. The defending was, I mean, Harry Amasu was actually quite good for them for that game. Just had to be stronger in that situation, and that the goalkeeper was pretty awful. I thought he didn't move at all, and that's Ethan Horvath, isn't it? Who has got previous of being pretty bad.
Didn't shithouse at all either, you know. Like later on in the game,
he did once, yeah. I think he'd caught either a cross came in or it was a corner, but it went straight to his hands and he just dived on the floor, League Camp-esque.
Well, yeah, but like there were times where he was coming back and he was getting the ball. He actually, like, there were 2 balls on the pitch at one point, and he just knocked the other one back off and put the ball down to take the goal. He's like, hang on, you're winning here. Surely you want to let both balls go on the pitch, but.
It was very Stansfield, the goal, wasn't it? It was the sort of goal you kind of expect him to score. He struck it extremely, extremely well. He had a few other sighters during that game as well, but they were all sort of
very good technique, because they're very easy to sky 20 yards over the bar.
He had a fair bit of goal to aim at, because Horvath was kind of like almost on his near post, and the angle probably looked a bit tighter in the ground, but he actually had quite a lot to aim at, but you still have to hit the target. I'm glad it was him and not Kyogo.
Wow. Getting it on the way back up as well.
No, it's good. The closing down of Harry Amas, when I think it was laid off by, might have been Roberts potentially that laid off. I can't remember, or maybe Kyogo, I'm not sure. And it looked like it's probably a bit of a lost cause, and their defender Harry Amas should have done better with it, but obviously Stansfield still had to put the pressure on him and close him down to win that. So, yeah, it's very Stansfield.
Right, I've seen that there's a few comments coming about Wrexham, so let's start moving on towards Wrexham. But before we do, the team it's pronounced Midtjylland. Them, yeah. They're Danish, aren't they? Yeah, they are Danish.
They're Danish, yeah.
Yeah. So they've scored, bear with me, 50. Oh, that's not them. 11. No, I don't know what it is. They've scored a lot of set piece goals. So let's go and raid their set piece coaches and bring them in alongside Jonathan Grounds, who can work on other stuff.
It's they are very, very, very heavy data led outfit. They use it for absolutely everything. They use the same. There's definitely a link between them and Brentford. They use a very, very similar model, I believe. So their owner might have been Brentford owner or vice versa. A former gambler or something. I can't remember, but Google it, you'll see it. Yeah, let's move on to Wrexham. Have we got an opposition view?
We have, yes. Lee from
Wrexham.
Lee from Wrexham. You know what? I've done all of the planning for this, and then forgotten what the name of their podcast is.
Is it The Race?
I can't. No, it's not. I can't even remember.
Let's hope you've at least subtitled it.
I think it's Lee. I think his name's Lee.
From Wrexham.
From the Fearless in Devotion podcast. I started that out, didn't I?
Bought yourself some time there. Let's see what Lee's got to say.
All right, guys, hope you're well. Excuse my buggy eyes. Long night after Leicester away last night. My thoughts on Wrexham season so far. Pretty happy to be perfectly honest. Slowish start, but to be expected. We've built an entirely new squad within 8 weeks. 50 days in the season, we seem to be gelling quite nicely, to be perfectly honest. So quite happy the way things are going. And yeah, just generally happy to be in the Championship. The level of play is obviously much more difficult than what we were used to. Yeah, just enjoying it and happy with our sort of points return so far. Just chipping away at it. So it's all we can do at this level. Just keep chipping away, prove hard to beat, and see what happens. But yeah, overall, pretty pleased. Expectations and hopes for the season. Oof. If you'd asked me that before we spent 30 million quid, I probably would have said 15th, 16th, but now we spent a bit of money. There's a bit more expectation to maybe finish a bit higher. So I think top 10, top 12 would be great. That'd be a really great first season back here after, 43 years. But yeah, I think internally the club are probably looking at, well, can we maybe push for a playoff? If we're in and about it come January, there's every reason we'll probably spend again and see where it takes us. But yeah, my expectation has to be top half of the table. I'd be delighted with that. Delighted. But we're starting to show signs that maybe we can push on and maybe do something special once again. It's highly unlikely, but you know, so were 3 successive promotions, so you just never know. In terms of who Birmingham need to keep an eye out for, probably Josh Windass, really good. That said, Issa Kabore, we've got him on loan from Man City for the season on the right wing. So fast, really good defensively as well. So he's one to definitely watch. He's really good. Our first proper exciting winger we've had in a long time. That really just looks head and shoulders above everybody else we've got on the team, probably. But yeah, really good. Issa Kabore, keep an eye out for him. In terms of you guys, where do I think you're dangerous? Hard to call, really, because those games last season were a bit of a blur. Hollywood derby. And you've had a bit of a weird kind of start to the season as well, to be fair. Very off and on. Very surprised by the result you had against Sheffield Wednesday, but again, we drew them as well, so maybe I shouldn't be that surprised. Clara, really like Clara. Big unit at the back, isn't he? Really like him. Is it Iwata? I want to say Iwata as well. Really good player. Really good. Kind of just got that creativity to unlock things and create a bit of magic. So I think those two kind of stand out. Obviously, it's Damari Gray on the left wing. Excitable to watch as well. So I think those are the areas, those 3 players, key players that I think are probably where Wrexham need to be on their guard, really. In terms of predictions, I do. I'm going to go with, surely it's our time to win. Surely. Got to turn this home form around. We still haven't really won at home in the league so far, so Friday night could be the one. I'm going to go 2-1 Wrexham. It's going to be close again. It's going to be fierce. It's going to be a great atmosphere. But I'll take it. I'll take a 2-1 and dive happily into the international break. Can't even speak. Dive into the international break on the back of a decent win and decent week, to be fair. So, yeah, that's it from me.
So thank you, Tim from Fearless in Devotion. Absolutely.
So it's not Lee then?
No. I said Lee. I don't know what you're on about. Yeah, thank you, Tim. Lee.
Three letters. I mean, it's easy to get them mixed up, isn't it, I suppose?
Well, there's only 2 letters in Lee. 3, but 2 different ones. But yeah. I did well there, didn't I?
Yeah. Top. Top.
I mean, the massive thing that before we move on, actually, Ben from Blues Breakdown has said Matthew Benham was formerly majority shareholder at that Danish club, still owner at Brentford. So there you
That's
go.
it. Yeah. So I knew that there was definitely a link between the data models and stuff they were using. I think it came from some form of gambling background or something. But yeah, I knew there was something there. Thanks, Ben, for making me not sound like a lunatic.
Kabore,
or at least less of a lunatic.
Kabore, then.
Yeah, concerning, because every time Cochrane comes up against pace, he gets his arse handed to him, doesn't he? Which I said last season might be a problem. Yeah.
I mean, that was the standout thing for me, is that they've got someone with just ridiculous pace, and that just sort of spells a bit of trouble. I mean, he's on loan from Man City, I think, isn't he? To them. I don't know if Lee said that on that.
I mean, I guess we'll talk about a little bit about how we'd set up, but if we're missing Asai Samuel and Laird, my natural, Samson's only really on that bench, or only featuring because of all the injuries that we've got now. I initially would have gone Neumann at right back because he can play there, but you're going to want someone that's quick alongside Cochrane, aren't you? There to be able to cover.
Also, they've got Kiefer Moore.
Yeah, so the height as well.
Height as well, isn't there?
So you probably will end up having to go with Samsted at right back, unless he goes with Iwata there. Who knows? But
I want that. He'll want him back with Peck in the middle, won't he?
I'm a bit worried about Friday. I'm a bit worried about it. It's one thing losing to Coventry, who are like one of the favourites and have a good squad. And I mean, to be fair, Wrexham's squad is looking pretty good. They've bought some really, really good players. They've done some really good business. Although it's again, like you said, spent quite a lot of money.
I think
I don't want to go to Wrexham and lose.
Thing is, it's still Parkinson football.
It's not quite
direct,
though, is it? I don't think it is now, because I think
lower possession, physical, just a slightly better rank of player.
I think they do. From the games I've watched them play, from the bits I've watched them play, they're not as. I don't think they're as direct. There's a definite. You can see more quality about them. I'm sure someone or Ben might correct me, but there's definitely more quality about the way they play football. They've got Lewis O'Brien in midfield there, haven't you? And you've got Ben Chief there as well, and Josh. You mentioned Josh Windass.
You've just mentioned Ben from Blues Breakdown. We have got Ben from Blues Breakdown recorded earlier while he was taking a stroll.
You sure you got?
I wondered what you were going to say then. Taking a what?
We've got Lee from Blues Breakdown.
Only three. Another name with three letters that you've managed to get.
Go on then. Play. What's Ben got to say?
Play Lee from Blues Breakdown. That's the wrong.
All right, guys. Hope you're well.
That's the wrong screen.
Let's press the button that says Ben.
Evening, gents. Thanks very much for having me back on. Just making sure that you can see me and that my ghostly nature towards Chris in the last couple of weeks hasn't manifested itself into my appearance as well. Going to take a bit of a leaf out of Chris's playbook tonight actually as well, and I've been pretty busy today and last couple of days over at work, so this is pretty much off the cuff. So Friday night sees the return of what the media like to call the Hollywood Derby, or to you and I, Wrexham versus Birmingham. Both sides reportedly investing fairly heavily in their squads over the summer transfer window. Wrexham kind of going down their usual path of bringing in guys that've got experience above the level, but probably pushing the upper kind of towards the end of their careers, maybe. Some eye-catching names though, nonetheless. Lewis O'Brien coming in, Kiefer Moore, Callum Doyle. Who else we got? Ben Sheaf, Connor Cody, Josh Windass. Probably overpaid a little bit for Nathan Broadhead, but decent players for the level. But it's kind of been an indifferent start for both teams. Blues obviously sit 12th on 11 points, and Wrexham are three places back and 2 points, 15th and 9 points. So I think by now we kind of know what we're going to get from a Phil Parkinson side. They've been pretty much lining up in a kind of a 3-4-2-1 formation with the 3 centre backs, the 2 wing backs, kind of providing the width, and then a bit of a box midfield these days for them, with George Dobson and Ben Sheaf probably 2 of the more sitting midfielders, and then you've got Lewis O'Brien and Josh Windass ahead of them, who all look to get up in support of the lone striker, which recently has been Kiefer Moore. Fairly low possession, pretty direct style. We say kind of know what to expect from a Phil Parkinson team these days. But one of the things that they are doing a little bit differently is that there's been a bit more of an emphasis on them to win the ball back higher up the pitch. They're still not a particularly high pressing team in terms of intensity. And when they don't manage to win the ball back in those kind of forward areas, they are settling back into a bit more of a low block, I think you'd probably call it. Going forwards, they're always a threat. 4th most goals this season in the league, albeit their chance creation numbers are pretty average. Defensively, they've been abject, woeful, dire. You kind of take your pick. They've conceded the 19th most goals in the league, but they've conceded the most shots. They've conceded the highest XG of any side in the league. So they're certainly it's certainly a weak area for them, and I think it's albeit our going forwards we've been fairly limp recently. I think it could. I think we will get some joy there. Just look at the very brief notes that I made down here. What else have we got? 2 players to watch. I've mentioned them both already, but I think that kind of front 2 of Windass and Lewis O'Brien are pretty key. O'Brien a strong ball carrier from midfield, and Windass has got that little bit of magic and kind of makes something from nothing occasionally. Interesting kind of that we often think of Wrexham being really strong at home. The racecourse being a bit of a fortress for them. This season they played 4 home, 4 away. Their only 2 wins have both come on the road. So they've picked up 7 points on the road and only 2 points at home, 2 draws against Wednesday and Derby. So prediction time. I don't think it's going to be a classic game, if I'm honest with you. Like I say, both sides struggling a little bit. I'll probably go for a 1-1 draw. I think first goal possibly be crucial, I think, from a Blues perspective, although we've seen recently that when we've gone ahead in games, we kind of maybe take our foot off the gas a little bit and allow teams back in it, but we are good at finishing strong, whereas Wrexham probably the opposite a little bit. They've given up leads on 3 or 4 occasions this season, so again, potentially a route back in it for us. So thanks, lads, keep right on.
Thank you as always, Ben, for sending that in. We've also got to just add, he's put a message in chat with a little asterisk. Conceded the 5th most goals in the league. They ranked 19th in the league if you rank them from least to most. Just updating himself. Here we go. I'm fearful, to be honest. The defence that we've got at the moment, and Kiefer Moore, Josh Windass, O'Brien, Kabore. Concerning.
I am. And it's the injuries on our part. The fact that he doesn't really know his best team anyway. Allsop's been shaky.
Well, So I've seen people that were asking about what's your starting 11. I think MSF said what's your starting 11 for Wrexham. So, I mean, it's not even predictable anymore. From starting from your keeper, Bede'll get his chance.
I think Allsop probably gets the Wrexham game, but I think after that we could see a change after the international break.
See,
now,
it wouldn't surprise me if this was the change.
I mean, I've written it down. So this was originally what I'd written down. This was prior to the comments from Ben and Tim.
Lee and Lee, yeah.
So I had Beadle, Neumann, Clara, Robinson, Cochrane, Doyle, Peck, Roberts, Gray, Kyogo, and Leonard as 10, but he won't do that. But based on the pace down the right-hand side or our left, I think you have to have Neumann there to protect Cochrane.
If Neumann still doesn't get a game, then it's just like, what the fuck has gone on there? Because he's got to play.
The problem we've got now is like, do you start with Kyogo and Dykes, or do you have Dykes come off the bench? Because we have got nobody to come off the bench to go up front unless he's going to bring a kid on, which is very, very, very unlikely.
Stansfield's not going to make it.
Yeah, it didn't sound good though afterwards. So hopefully he is all right, because obviously if that's the case and he has to start, doesn't he? Him and Kyogo have to start, and that's fine. But I'd like to see Doyle.
Do they though?
I think they do, yeah.
So you mentioned Leonard there. Leonard in the 10. If Stansfield's not 100%, then don't play him. And that's...
Well, yeah, but my point was, if Stansfield's fit, you play him. But if he's not fit, and obviously I had Leonard in there anyway, and that, so... But I don't know what he's going to do. It's going to be interesting because we've got... The squad is looking thin at the moment.
Well, this is the thing. Like last season, they were celebrating how well they'd kept players fit.
Yeah, we were, to be fair.
Yeah. This season, are they not taking the Tom Brady greens anymore?
Maybe they've gone on to the what do you call it? Onto the fuck, my words just left my head. They have the list of banned substances you're not allowed to take now. They're not. Some footballers can't have cold and flu because it has something in there which can be classed as performance enhancing.
So they've removed the Tom Brady greens.
Yes, maybe
substance list. Oh, right. So I think Neumann's got to come in. I think
he absolutely has to, because he absolutely has to.
I think for me, Samstead is like, you've just got to play a right back.
Yeah, it's the other concern is like there's no real, like there's not really any proper training, is there? There's gonna be like a walkthrough and video stuff. So
hopefully that means no more injuries between now and
you'd hope so, don't you?
Yeah, left back, like, picks itself at the moment. I think it wouldn't surprise me if Beadle does get the nod just for being a better keeper.
Well, this is the problem. We don't know if he is a better goalkeeper, but at the moment, Allsop has been
a better
quite
keeper. Highly rated.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the bench there, and from yesterday, and you've got Kumas, Fujimoto, Samstead, Iski, Dykes, Leonard, Peck, Neumann, but then potentially you're going to be missing Asai Samuel, Stansfield, Are we missing anybody else? Anyone else get injured? So
I think so.
There's basically 2 more places up for grabs there, and then they're going to be backfilled by academy kids. There's probably going to be 3 academy kids on the bench potentially on Friday.
I last week I said give Dykes a go potentially, as long as we play the right way to include him, and that's not just going long to, and I would still go there.
I'd consider it for 2 reasons. So, well, actually, set pieces in both boxes. Someone that's going to be able to get their head on something from a defensive point of view as well, just to give us an extra bit of protection back there, because I think we will probably need it.
I wouldn't disagree, but also
but I don't know what that team's going to look like. It's the back 4 that's probably going to be the most interesting, or the back 5 is probably going to be the most interesting, because there's going to be 2 or 3 changes there.
Just coming in on that quickly, we've had Blues breakdown. Is it Ben? Chris?
No, Lee.
Right? No.
Lee, I think.
Lee from Blues
Lee
breakdown.
from Blues.
Just quickly commenting, he wouldn't go with Beadle. I'd worry about Beadle against Wrexham. For a bloke his size, I think. He's looking nervy, claiming and commanding his area. Not what you want against Wrexham. Allsop, not brilliant.
I was going to say, Allsop has the same problems for me at commanding the area, but at least, Allsop's probably a bit more used to it potentially. But I get where it's coming from. That was my concern about Beadle when we signed him, but it's still a concern.
Right, let's get some. I see. I think most of the team, the rest of the team, the positions that are left, probably pick themselves. I mean, Roberts has got to play in. Oh, Robinson be back for it.
He will be back, yeah. But again,
so if it's him or Neumann, for me, it's still Neumann.
It depends if they want to put Neumann at right back, doesn't it? But I think you have to have a bit more pace in the middle there. You've still got the height with Neumann if you play him at right back, but I think you need if Neumann comes in, he has to play on the left, not on the right.
I agree. He don't move Clara back out of the position that he actually started looking settled in again.
So
just put Neumann there. Midfield. So you would go Iwata and Doyle in that midfield too.
I want to go Doyle and Peck.
Sorry, yeah, that's sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think he will. I think Peck's more than capable of being able to play a more industrious role, but I think you play Iwata. But Doyle has to start. If he doesn't, I'll be annoyed. I'll boo.
I can see Doyle playing, but I can see what I said earlier. I can see him playing in that 10. Yeah. Which I wouldn't do. I don't think you get the best out of him there, but I could see that he potentially sees his strong midfield 2, his preferred midfield 2, and then the trusty, and then the one in that can come back and support. So I could see that. I wouldn't do it. I would have. I think I would go Iwata and Doyle again. You obviously go Peck.
Yeah.
And then I think that the 2 wide players, you've got to go with Gray and Roberts.
Well, we've only got 3 fit wide players, haven't we? So
no. I think I thought that Kumas looked brighter last night when he came.
The problem is he does one good thing and then blasts it into the crowd or over the bar or crosses it into. It goes out for a throw in.
No. Before we get some predictions, Ben from Blues Breakdown has just commented, "We'll all be in for a shock when Iwata starts at right back and Robinson at left centre back."
Yeah.
Right, come on then. Let's. Have you got the table there? So we yesterday's game we got some predictions in. Dave, you had an issue with my comment here. I said that the
so what happens for people that aren't regular viewers or listeners to WAB is that Chris, you'll ask me or Matthew for our predictions. We will give you our predictions, and then you just fucking make something else up.
what was made up? So
I think,
all that I said
yeah.
yesterday was get you. So I said predictions, fellas. You put your
Basically,
prediction. No, you put your prediction in with your score and your scorer. I put my score in and said I'll put the scorer in shortly. And I put my scorer in and I said, Chewy, you've got to get your prediction in with your scorer before the team is
rules
announced.
change. The rules change
How
every week.
that's not
Rules change
changed?
every week.
You-
Basically, by the end of the season,
on,
you'll be
you-
by the end of the
you-
season, you'll be asking me and Matthew our predictions before the game, and you'll be giving your prediction at the end of the game.
You predicted. I'm on
Right.
your side here. You
Let's
predicted
just
straight
get-
away, and Chewy was like leaving it to the last minute. We predicted.
Yeah, but I was
ours.
busy. That's why I was leaving. So I
Yeah,
said I'll do it later, and I
that's
did. and
completely fine. I don't know what he's picking issue with.
Right, just let's
Anyway,
just get to the table so we can make our
all got
predictions,
the-
and then
we all
we'll
got
go
the
to bed.
scores. We all got the scores wrong, but I got a bonus point for Dimmy.
Great scoring. It's fine. There you go.
Still reigning champion at the bottom of the table, but working his way back up, catching up with bonus points.
I still don't understand.
Am I muted on this screen, Dave? Was I muted on that screen?
So what are you predicting for this one then? What are you predicting for this one?
Dave,
score draw, 1-1. Going with what is it? Blues breakdown. Lee's for you.
Lee from Blues Breakdown.
Lee from Blues. Other 3-worded names. Jim from Blues Breakdown. 1-1.
Gora?
Pardon?
Gora?
You're
gonna give us that like after they've scored.
Yeah. I'll tell you on Saturday. Kyogo, I'm going to keep going. Like the way you went 4-0 last year, I'm going to
stick with Kyogo and
get on the Kyogo train.
Do you remember at the start of the season when it was like, "Oh, is this going to be our cheat code and we can't repeat those ones?"
Another rule that you introduced.
Yeah, I mean we've got to do these things on the fly. Come on then, Chewy.
I'm gonna go after you.
Okay. Right, so I'm absolutely dreading this. But
I am.
But
it's all to stay at home then.
But I'm going to be positive. I don't just because I don't want to be negative. So I'm going to predict a score that I can't really see. The 4-0s last season. But no, I'm going to go 3-1 Blues. I know.
Kyogo hat trick.
No. No, I don't think I'm going to pick Kyogo. I'm Chewy. You go with your score, and then I'll come with the score. Oh, sorry, Dave. Is that?
I started off thinking 1-1. Well, then I sort of deferred to 2-2, and then I felt, could we do it? Could we squeak out a 2-1 win? I think I'm going to go 2-2, and I'm going to go Roberts.
Roberts? Have we got a Groberts? Roberts.
Well, there's lots of Roberts. Roberts in Wales. No, yeah, Roberts. I'm going Roberts. 2-2 or 2-1. I'm going to go 2-2.
Okay. And I'm going Clara. I think I've had him a few times, and I'm going to go with him again. Now, you boys, we're after going to try and sort your tickets out for the games, aren't we? So we're going to try and get something sorted for you. And I know you've made your arrangements to come over, so we'll try.
I'm over anyway. We're gonna get some complimentary tickets from what's his name?
Tom Wagner.
No, the other guys.
That's
McElhinney and
Deadpool.
what's his face? I forgot his name. Brian. No.
Ian Reynolds.
Ryan Reynolds. Yes.
Yeah.
So yeah, made a plea to the Wrexham board of directors to see if we can get some tickets, and we're hopeful. So we'll see if it happens.
And if not, we'll try and sort something out. So we'll see you at the see you on Friday.
You'll definitely see me on Friday, yeah. One way or another.
One way or another. People that are travelling, enjoy. Have a safe journey. Hopefully,
especially if you're coming over on a boat.
3 points. Legal boats, obviously.
A legal boat, yes. Yeah. We're not stopping the big Stena boat.
And until next week, stay bold and keep right on.
Keep right on.
Keep right on.